The Wycombe Wanderers Show.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show. Of course, since we last spoke, so much has happened, doesn't it? But we do have our first points of the season at the third time of asking in League One. A fantastic 3-2 victory, if you hadn't heard, at home to Leyton Orient on Tuesday night. It was certainly an enthralling game. A lot happened, and we'll be reliving those in a few moments' time with our match highlights from our commentary with Phil, and of course Toby Large was alongside him at Adams Park on Tuesday as well. We'll be reflecting on that with Phil himself as well. We'll hear from manager Matt Bloomfield to get his thoughts on that game as well. Also, coming up later on, we'll hear more from the manager as he looks ahead to the second of back-to-back home games in League One as Burton Albion visit on Saturday. Quite excited to let you know as well about the return last week, of course, of our regular feature with the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association. We spoke to Marcus Bean, of course, is quite famous for a particular goal, and then went on to score another one after some T-shirts were made as well. Also, this evening, we're having a bit of a series coming up, thanks to the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association, to mark 30 years of the club in the Football League. And I'm especially excited because, I'm easily excited, as you can tell. I know what's coming. But to be speaking to the man who led the club to the Football League 30 years ago. Also, the person who was inducted on Tuesday night at half-time on the pitch with Mark Gateskill, the Chief Executive of the Wycombe Wanderers Foundation, as the Honorary President of the club's charitable arm. We're finding out more about that this evening when we hear from someone who needs no introduction, apart from the fact that I've just built up quite a lot of the introduction. He's also someone who'll be the guest of honour at the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Dinner, which is taking place in November. You still haven't said who it is, Colin. We probably know, don't we? It's also someone who did the draw for the second round of the EFL Cup last week, and was seen, if you saw the draw you'll know this, but he was seen, instead of talking to the microphone, he was talking to the balls each time he drew them out. I thought I should mention that because it's covered in our chat. So a chat with Martin O'Neill is on the way. I think that needed explaining, because otherwise, if you didn't know that, it would sound a bit of an odd question when it's brought up with him. But first, here are some highlights from Tuesday night.
Good evening and welcome to Adams Park, live from the Bill Turnbull Gantry. I'm Phil Catchpole. You're tuned in to Wanderers TV and Wycombe Sound 106.6 for full commentary of Wycombe Wanderers versus Leyton Orient in beautiful August evening sunshine here in South Bucks. Scowen. Cross comes in to the back post again, Lowe's up there and it's there! Debut goal for Joe Lowe. Brilliant stuff from the chair boys. What a cross by Luke Leahy. And on his first league start for the club, Joe Lowe muscles his way into the back post and his right-footed volley nestles in the bottom corner. Wycombe Wanderers 1, Leyton Orient 0. Is it going to be Leahy crossing in a left-footed one to try and tempt the keeper off his line? He goes for goal. Oh, and the keeper scrambles, and Leahy using every minute of his experience there, really. Long ball over the top for Archibald is a good one. First time cross goes to the back post, and it's there, the equaliser. Lovely ball in from Archibald, and Ruel Satoriu has equalised, left-footed volley past Max Striek. It came from out wide, and the wide man from the right came in to meet the cross. First time. Wycombe Wanderers 1, Leyton Orient 1. Scowen, lovely ball through to Taylor. Taylor's blocked off by the run, and that's a free kick on the edge of the area. What's the referee? It's a red! It's a red card. Taylor had his run blocked off. The referee has deemed this to be a clear goal scoring opportunity outside of the penalty area. He's produced the red card, and I'm just seeing which defender is it. It's Dan Happ, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it looked like it was, and in my opinion that's the correct decision. Taylor had got himself through on goal and there was contact on him blocking him off. Whether he actually would have been able to get his shot off on goal, I'm not sure, but you never know whether he would have done or not, and I think the referee then has to give the red card, especially with the new rules where they're becoming a little bit more strict on everything being given. I think that is the right decision.
Goes back to Leahy, digs out across. Taylor on the turn, narrow angle, puts it into Vokes. Vincent Young, can he get a shot away? He can't. He stays on his feet, but Wycombe Wanderers win a corner. It's really good attacking play down the left-hand side. The corner's taken short. Luke Leahy gets it back from Kane. Vincent Young goes to the back post, Lowe's there again, and he has scored again. Joe Lowe with the diving header in front of the terrace, and it's limbs in the Valley Ends. Wycombe Wanderers 2, Leighton Orient 1. Luke Leahy, a buffet ball, gobbled up by Joe Lowe for his second for the Chairboys on his first league start for the club. Bring it on.
Get in there, Joe Lowe. What a way to find yourself in the starting 11 for the first time in the league. And Joe Lowe has been absolutely imperious at the back. The closer we get towards the 90 minutes, the better at this scoreline, unless we can find another. And that's a brilliant pass.
Lovely stuff. There's Taylor on the left-hand side. He's inside the area. He's looking for support. Gives it to Boys now. Boys, first time left-footed crosses a peach to the back post. Clawed away, but only as far as McCleary. McCleary into Scowen, he turns, narrow angle, and Taylor is there! The offside flag stays down, and Wycombe Wanderers have gone 3-1 into the lead, and Dale Taylor has opened his account for the season. McCleary into Scowen. Scowen dropped a shoulder and rolled the ball across to Taylor. And there we are, Wycombe Wanderers 3, Leighton Orient 1. Long throw into the box. Headed clear by Potts. Shot comes in, it strikes and hits the soon, it's in there. And Lorient are back in this one. A scrappy goal. The shot came in, it was tested down by Lowe and it fell nicely. Beckles is forwards, it's not comfortable for Wycombe. Potts heads clear. Scowen is there as well. Wycombe need to get something on it, and Leahy does. And Leahy sees the keeper off his line. He's got Boys to his left, and Leahy just chips it down, and the whistle goes. Wycombe Wanderers have got their first win of the season. A breathtaking game here at Adams Park. Leighton Orient played their part too. It finishes 3-2. It was 1-1 at half time. The red card really brought the things to life. Wycombe Wanderers made the extra man count and went 3-1 up, but Leighton Orient were dangerous on the counter throughout. They got it back to 3-2. The 10 minutes went up, and it's been tight, it's been edgy, it's been entertaining stuff. Wycombe have played some great stuff this evening too. Toby, what a game. Who's your man of the match?
There's so many that I could give it to. I think Luke Leahy is one who's been so involved. I think Dale Taylor's put in such a good performance, but there's only one man. A brace on your first start at Adams Park. My man of the match has to go with Joe Lowe. But phew, finally, the final whistle went, and season 23-24, we have liftoff. Come on, boys. Matt Bloomfield deserves that for all the work that he's put in. The fans around Adams Park deserve that. The 1887 got to shout out them. The atmosphere was so good, and I can't help but feel like they've improved it. The Chairboys at home watching, you deserve that. Get in there with him.
Late news, Leighton Orient assistant manager's just been shown a red card. Richie Wellens is lining up for his, and here it comes. Richie Wellens is sent off after the full-time whistle as well, and he's going back for more. I think he just wants to shake hands with the officials in what can only be seen as a sarcastic display of gratitude at the end there. Richie Wellens absolutely furious. His side will come again after tonight. So then, Wycombe Wanderers, Joe Lowe at the double. A first goal for Dale Taylor seals the points. Full time at Adams Park. Wycombe Wanderers 3, Leighton Orient 2.
Fantastic to hear such incredible game on Tuesday. So much happening. I'm very pleased to say, Phil, we can speak to now. And to quote the mastermind behind the duck-sized bears and bear-sized ducks, forget Sheffield Wednesday, we're now Wycombe Tuesday.
Absolutely, yeah. 5 wins out of 5. It was a really fantastically absorbing game, especially the second half, and full credit to Leighton Orient as well. They had a great effort, and Wycombe still very much a work in progress, but some really good signs, especially going forwards, and scoring 3 goals at home as well was a real tonic. But it was all about the 3 points and a really big victory as well. Big credit to Joe Lowe too. I think defensively, has looked assured against MK Dons and at large parts against Leighton Orient, but to get 2 goals as well, only first league start for your club, is the stuff of dreams, especially in front of the home fans. So yeah, great to him as well. Dale Taylor, every striker needs to get that first goal and hopefully get on a run too. He had a really good performance and he missed a really good chance, and then you were hoping that another one would come his way and he would open his account, and he did. So from that point of view, fantastic. He's looking like he's building up a good relationship with Sam Vokes, and that's going to get stronger as the games go on. So that's exciting to see. And it was lovely to speak to Matt Bloomfield after the game, who enjoyed the victory too.
Oh, what a game. Incident packed, wasn't it? It did everything, sending off, goals, either end, late drama. There was a goal malfunction. We could have had more than what we had. I thought we looked a real threat in attacking areas. There's other bits I'd like to tidy up a bit better, I think, to be honest. But I think relief around the ground. I think you could tell the last 10, 15 minutes that, the first win hadn't come yet, and we were kind of getting a bit edgy and defending for our lives. But it's certainly a relief to get that one on the board.
Let's roll back right to the very start. Joe Lowe, first league start for Wycombe Wanderers at centre-back, and a first goal as well, and that was great to get things rolling.
Yeah, I think I said it after MK last Tuesday. Joey came in on trial, with a view to signing. He came to train with us. He was willing to take the chance to come and train in pre-season. We obviously played against him at Walsall last year when we were at Colchester, and he's impressed us in everything he's done. Every challenge we've set down to him, he's grabbed it. He's a level-headed boy. He just wants to play football and be the best he can be. I love his outlook on life. I love his attitude. And after the weekend, we felt that this was the time to give him his go in the league, and I thought he grabbed it with both hands. He's got to keep his feet firmly on the floor, but we know he will. We're delighted to have him here with us.
Orient took their chance in the first half, and it went in at 1-1 at half-time. What were your thoughts at half-time at 1-1?
Yeah, I wasn't very happy at half-time, I must admit. I thought we got our press slightly wrong. I thought that it was a soft goal to give away in terms of the way we tracked the run and then didn't mark in the box, so that was really disappointing. But I was pleased with the goal threat we had. I thought Dale looked lively all night. We know he's going to be a big player for us. Sam's missed a lot of pre-season, but it's really starting to look like Sam that we know and love. I wasn't really too happy at half time. We obviously made the decision to bring on Freddie. It was a tough decision to leave him out tonight, but we wanted to go with the experience of Joshy and Lukey in the middle of the park, and I just thought that Potsy would come on and give us that little bit of guile. Killian's missed a lot of pre-season as well with his at Palace, so we felt at 45 minutes it was just right to change shape and go to three in midfield and let Freddie come on. And I thought the ball he passed through to Joshy, and then the way we created ended up in a sending off, but Dale was through on goal. So yeah, it just felt like we needed something at half time, and I'm glad what we did paid off.
Lit the touch paper, that red card. What was your view on it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lovely pass. Potsy's accepted it, passed it through the lines. One of the main reasons we wanted him here was his ability to pass through the lines. Joshy playing slightly higher in the 8, again accepted and played the, 2 passes were through them, and Dale was through on goal. Vokes, he got out of the way and Dale was through. He got pulled back. It's a red card. I'm not sure there's too much to be discussed about that, if I'm honest.
And Wycombe made the numerical advantage count 2-1. That man again, Joe Lowe.
Yeah, and he's a threat in the box, as we saw last year with his loan spell. He does attack it. He's a big boy, and he's a big old unit, and he's got a desire to get on the end of things. So it's good for him. I felt like it's just a shame we didn't have more, because I felt like there's balls that flashed across. Lukey had the one that dropped to him. Dale at the front stick that just missed it. Dale had another one where we pressed from the goal kick and won it back high up in their 18-yard box. So there was loads of near misses, but it was nice for Joe to get his, and then obviously it was great to see Dale get off the mark with the third as well, because he's been so close a couple of times. He's just such a team player. Dale was, we obviously saw him at Burton last year. We saw what a diamond of a boy he is. He just wants to come and do well for us, and I was chuffed to see him get off the mark as well. And it was a really good football match. Both teams trying to play in the way that we both want to go about it. I thought they dominated the ball at times, so we had to stay strong in our defensive shape. But I think that evening games here at Adams Park, we're under the lights, and there's a zip to the pitch which gives it an extra edge and an extra pace to the game. I thought the terrace was top tonight, so thank you for the guys, and big relief at the end to share that moment with them. It's obviously been a testing couple of weeks, but I just said to the boys, there's no celebrations in there. We've got another game to go on Saturday, and we've got to make sure we're ready to go.
And finally, no Chris Farino in the squad tonight. Any news on that?
No, nothing. Just Chrissy's missed a lot of pre-season again. He had his wrist operation. He's we've discussed his situation already a number of times, so we don't need to discuss it anymore. He missed a lot of pre-season. He's had a lot going on, and I felt that he was magnificent at MK last week, but the recovery from Tuesday to Saturday, when you've missed a lot of pre-season. It's not that first game, it's the second and third that you struggle with your body. So we didn't want to make him an injury risk tonight. It was for his own benefit. We just felt that, Saturday came around really quickly and he tired last half an hour, and we felt that going again tonight would cause him more problems than it would solve. So we made the decision to leave him out. He's done a bit of fitness work. He'll keep himself going. He's a bit fit and available. We love him, Chris. There's nothing untowards before people try and make something of it that it's not. It's really not that. We love him to bits. We want him here. We see him as a big part of our long-term future. And it was just a decision we had to make, and we felt that the right time was put Joe in, and that kind of played into the hands. We can't, we don't want all experience, we don't all young. We need to try and get that blend right, and we've got to keep looking at that as we move forward.
Really nice. Similar to Gareth, I guess, as well. Matt's always so upbeat and positive, but it feels like such a sort of reward for him as well, that to get those first points in League One at the third attempt.
Yeah, and obviously he's at the very start of his managerial journey, and I remember speaking to Gareth back at the start when things were going badly, and you can tell the pressure it takes on a manager, especially in a very brittle industry that football is, that the pressure is on straight away. Social media and fans is an interesting place after a team loses, and it adds to it as well, obviously. Well, that's always worth remembering. It's just 20% of the population that's on Twitter. But, every fan has their platform to put their views across. And after defeats, it can be quite a lot of stuff on there. Some of it justified, some of it not. Everyone's got opinions, and it's great that people talk about the football. But wins really make everything a lot easier for everybody around the football club. But I think building on what we're saying with Oakley and Taylor as well, it's just the integration of the new players. It's going to take a few games. It was unacceptable how they defended. They have to do the simple things better. But it was all about getting the 3 points. And there was definitely a sense of relief after the 10 minutes was added on at the end. You could tell that those first two results were hanging over Wycombe a little bit. So they really, really wanted to dig in and get that 3 points. It was made more difficult by conceding the second Leyton Orient goal. As I say, down to 10 men, but they really made a great effort. But when the final whistle went, it was a sense of relief and jubilation, which is what football's all about. And hopefully now Wycombe can use this as a platform to build against another team that's struggling down the bottom like Leyton Orient were in Burton Albion. Because if we are to win that game as well, then all of a sudden, 4 games into a season, things look a hell of a lot better.
And it's really nice to having back-to-back home games like that as well, because you can kind of build on what was achieved, and the team must have so much more confidence as well.
I think it would only be really nice if we can get a win, because it's a results business after all. But the performances are moving in the right direction, and Matt Bloomfield has already said, look, if the performances are good, then the results will take care of themselves across the whole body of a season. So it's about building on those performances and building those relationships with the players. And the other relationship I thought that was excellent on Tuesday was a relationship between the players on the pitch and the fans in the terrace and the family stand and the Frank Adams stand, because there was some really great noise across all fan sections on Tuesday night and the away end as well. It was a really great atmosphere, and it was really great to hear the Wycombe fans in good voice.
The players must take so much from that as well, and sort of the online comments that you adhere to as well. It really shows, doesn't it? It's easy to support the team, when they're doing well and winning and things are going well, but just as important, if not more so, to really back the team when the results aren't going in their favour.
Exactly that. It's there's always a discussion, isn't it? The team should be the ones who enthuse the fans, and then the team will say, sometimes when we're struggling, we need the fans to pick us up as well. Look, every fan has a different reason for coming to football. Every fan, there'll be some that will just clap and cheer no matter what. There'll be others who love to come and vent and let off some steam and have a moan as well. And these are all perfectly valid responses for football fans. But yeah, last night I thought was really excellent. I thought the boys gave the fans something to get behind and cheer. There were times when the fans needed to help them out, and they did. And they were rewarded in that as well. And I know the team were appreciative of the much improved atmosphere last night. And long may it continue, and hopefully that can continue to build. We saw it at Lincoln with their fan group, the 617 Squadron, leading their whole stadium. Not just this fan group in particular, it's about all of the fans coming together. And they've been going since 2011, and they're a phenomenal force up at Sincil Bank, and that's something I think for Wycombe to aspire to and to build to and hopefully eclipse.
And really exciting for yourself as well to see, the potential that's in especially the new signings, I guess, but the whole group coming together as well.
Yeah, it's a squad game. We know that's going to be the case over the 46 league games. Plus, hopefully, we can have some cup runs in there too. We've got Sutton United coming up on a Tuesday night, so this will be a chance for squad rotation and minutes. And we've had an injury hit pre-season for some of the players too, and illness. And you have to manage their minutes and to make sure they're not going to do any long-term damage to themselves as well. So there's going to be part of that. Tafazoli came off in the second half on Tuesday because they're sort of monitoring his minutes too and making sure that he can be as fit for as many games as possible because he's such a big player for Wycombe. Same for Chris Farino, not in the squad on Tuesday. So it's about making sure that everyone is at their optimum when called upon, really. And it's a squad game, and we know it's going to be a squad game. People will have to be patient, and when they get the chance, it's then on them to take it and make sure they're undroppable.
And obviously still really early in the season, and which means, I think, in a way, that there's so much to look forward to as well.
Yeah, of course, and it's a long old season, but when you start badly and, fans can get a bit despondent, but they've got to remember the bigger picture. But 10 games is the key indicator. If Wycombe can be in a position at 10 games where everything is still possible, and of course it will be because there'll be still huge amounts of points to play for, but they don't want to make it too difficult in terms of catching up. So in terms of like reaching the heights and getting into that top six, the 10-game indicator will really show where Wycombe are at from their start and where they can look to improve and build. It is, but I think hopefully after 10 games, Wycombe have given a really good account of themselves and are in a decent position to keep pushing upwards and ultimately be in that top six at the end of the season. Great to speak to you as always, and enjoy the game on Saturday. Nice one. Cheers, Colin. Always a pleasure to have Phil on the show. And, of course, you can hear live commentary on 106.6 FM on Saturday and, of course, on Wanderers TV as well. You might, of course, be going to the game. You could do both. Some people do both. I'm sure that you listen to the commentary and watch the game. I do. Luke does that. You might be doing that as well. You might be listening thinking, yeah, I do that. Because people do. They go to like Formula 1 and cricket and they have the commentary on and watch it. So yes, I'd encourage that. If you've not done that before, listen to the commentary and also watch the game. You can do both. It's not like an either or. Also, you can hear more of Phil's chat with Matt Bloomfield and also with Joe Lowe as well on Wanderers TV, and you can catch up with Knowing Me, Knowing Blues, which last week was with Luke Leahy. Listen out for the and look out for the next edition of that, which is coming very soon as well, as we get to know more about the players. The second part of the Wycombe Wanderers Show is on the way next here at Wycombe Sound.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Still to come on this week's edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show, we'll preview the visit of Burton Albion on Saturday. We'll hear from manager Matt Bloomfield. We'll talk kits as the new goalkeeper shirt is among the very first to be available, which you can enjoy from Saturday. You can see pictures of it now, in fact, even as well. We'll let you know details about the next Family Fun Day, which is coming to Adams Park, and something else which I've completely forgotten. But first, we'll chat to Luke about Tuesday.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us.
It's like a behind-the-camera view.
Yes, because if you were listening last week, and let's hope you were, then we sort of revealed, if that's the word, you've got a new role with the club.
Yes, Wanderers TV producer.
Ooh. I was thinking more director, I think. I was going to say, do you get one of those chairs, the directors?
No, but I would like one of those. If Mr. Kuhig is listening, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just put your request in.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, give us a bit of an insight as to what was involved on Tuesday with your Wanderers TV role.
It was a bit weird because there was no Wycombe Sound-like stuff. So it was like, I don't have to run outside to a car park, which was quite nice.
But you still did cover quite a bit of ground.
But I did quite a lot of running inside instead, which was good because it wasn't raining. So that would made things a lot nicer. So obviously Martin O'Neill, who we'll hear from in a bit, was there on Tuesday to be announced as honorary president of the foundation. So that involved running from the Bill Turnbull gantry at about. I went up.
Did you say running?
No.
Okay.
If I run down the Frank Adams end, I would be dead. So I went at sort of halfway through, sort of 30 minutes into the game, because I thought that gives me enough time to get through like the gates and background, which was fine. And then on the way, so we did all that, which was great. Great for Martin O'Neill to be there. It's brilliant for the foundation. And having Martin there is always good. It was really weird though because the place went quiet. Normally, when things happen, sometimes you get fans talking. It went silent. Everyone was listening to Martin, which just shows sort of how much everyone respects him. So that was really, really interesting to know.
And nice for you to be on the pitch while that was happening as well.
Yeah, it is. Although I always have someone in the back of my head sort of just going, don't fall over. there's a lot of people looking at you. Don't make an idiot of yourself, which I do quite easily.
Yeah, easily done, I can imagine.
It really is. So that was cool. And then I had to go back up to Bill Turnbull Gantry. But this is when all the red cards were sort of happening. You could tell something was about to happen. So while I was inside the Legends Lounge, it was all I could hear it all kicking off. So then I did run sort of through the stairs back up to the gantry and was like, "What's happened?" It was like, "There's been a red card."
Fascinating insight.
I know, thank you.
And then post-match as well, which we'll talk to you about perhaps a bit more in a short moment, because I don't want to delay any further, because as you mentioned, Martin O'Neill was at the game and inducted with Mark Gateskill, who of course is the Chief Executive of the Wycombe Wanderers Foundation, who we'll hear from on next week's show as well.
He's very tall as well.
He is very tall, as am I, as often pointed out.
It is.
People do say that. You're very tall, thank you. It's more of an observation than a compliment.
True.
But yes, Martin O'Neill inducted as honorary president, and I caught up with him the morning after to find out his reaction.
I really enjoyed it, I must admit. It's an absolute privilege to be back. And, some things have changed and some things haven't changed. But it was really, genuinely, really nice to be back.
And you've got this title as honorary president, which sounds very grand of the Wycombe Wanderers Foundation, but fantastic for you to be able to, pass on your experience with the work that they do in terms of inclusion and the community and getting the best out of people. I
think that's exactly right. It is precisely that. It wasn't when I was manager of the football club quite some time ago. There weren't any additions like foundations, anything like that. In fact, the first time that I probably really knew about foundations was when I went up to Celtic, and theirs is pretty big, I must admit. Wycombe's will grow during the time, but you're saying absolutely the benefits for the community would be terrific.
It really does show what a big part football clubs do have in their communities.
Exactly. Well, of course, and Wycombe would be a prime example of that. I think that it's really community-based. You think way back in 1990 when I was the manager, we were at the old Lokes Park, which was, I thought, despite the slopey pitch, I thought it was brilliantly positioned near the hospital, just in the edge of town. And then, of course, moving away to Adams Park, just slightly out, but and sometimes difficult to get to with the traffic. But overall, genuinely lovely place. Last night, watching the game, the pitch was, I suppose you probably would expect it to be in fantastic order at the beginning of the season, but it looked absolutely immaculate. And again, over 4,000 people watching the game. It kind of reminded me of 30 odd years ago.
And did it feel, and I guess it's easy to look back and say that now, but did it feel at the time like you were doing something really special in, obviously moving grounds, and we've had Glyn Creaser on the show before talking about how special it was to be offered a professional contract by yourself?
I think, right, okay, so I think that when we were moving grounds, moving from the old Lokes Park to Adams Park, I think we were hoping that something special might happen. Obviously, the ambition was to try and get into the Football League at the time. We were in the league called the Vauxhall Conference. And I think that we all had these great dreams and aspirations of eventually getting in there. Perhaps maybe we didn't think that it would happen so quickly. Along the way, we won a couple of FA trophies, which were, the equivalent, the non-league equivalent anyway, of the FA Cup. And those trips to Wembley were really special. And success follows success for a couple of years, which is really, really delightful. And as Glyn just mentioned, players coming from being part-time players to getting an opportunity to become professional players. Now, Glyn, I think, was he must have been about 28 or 29 when this opportunity came along for him. And I thought when we got into the Football League, I thought that for the most part, those players who took us there, if they wanted to become professional players, should get first chance at trying to keep us there and hopefully maybe push on. So all those lads, I'm indebted to them really for the effort that they put in every single game. It was phenomenal, and I liken them to any group of players that I've had.
Because obviously people will credit you for what you've achieved and leading the team into the Football League, but as you say, there was such a special group of players and you really brought the best out of them.
There's no question about that. That people might turn around and say, I helped them. They helped me immensely. Absolutely. And I think I've said this before, that if success hadn't happened there, perhaps maybe I might have found myself in the wilderness. So I owe a special debt to those players. They were really, really terrific. They improved, and there's no question about it. They did improve, but their attitude every single week and in training was absolutely first class. And I really could not praise them enough.
Because I think as fans, don't you see the players, coming out on a Saturday or a Tuesday, and you don't really appreciate, I guess, what goes into getting them to that point.
Well, it's funny, and I must tell you this, that when we went, when the players got promotion into the Football League and became professional players, we didn't have any big place to train in, but we managed to secure a couple of pitches up at Homer Green, where the gentleman and his wife who were looking after things there were exceptionally helpful to us. Cordoned off little areas for us, and the weather was terrible, and players just had a fantastic time. And on the Friday, when we used to, the day before the games, we would have our little matches, and then we were plied with tea, sandwiches, and buns on the Friday by the gentleman. Unfortunately, he's just passed away, and so has his wife now in the last couple of years. But it was terrific. There was a camaraderie. I know you're going to hear that word so often, and everybody seems to talk about it. But with the success that we had, we couldn't have done it without the camaraderie of the players. And they were, what was it, that old D'Artagnan, all for one and one for all. They were seriously brilliant.
Well, I can tell you from personal experience, Matt Bloomfield is very partial to a chocolate brownie, so not that much has changed at the training ground.
That's great. And wasn't that a good result last night?
Oh, absolutely.
Really terrific. I honestly, I think that he can obviously legendary status as a player for the length of time he was there, and I think in time, just give him a little bit of time, I think just he will be able to plant his own mark on the football club as a manager.
And it's obviously great what Gareth did in the time that he was in charge as well. And you mentioned the sort of the camaraderie amongst the players and the culture that he built, and that was something that was very much reflected in your day as well.
Yeah, I think that's right. And like everything else, a new manager comes in, has different ideas, and Matt may well have been initially, maybe as a manager, working with a couple of people that were there when he was a player. And sometimes those things are all difficult to set a new set of rules down. Lads, the players have been used to a manager who's been there for about 10 years. He's very, very successful and did really, really well. And then the minute that you think you went in and try and change some little things, then, there might be some sort of rebellion. I'll give you an example. Graham Souness, wonderful, wonderful footballer at Liverpool, absolutely fantastic player at Liverpool, worked with a group of players, and of course, the management team had their own way of doing things. When Graham became manager, he tried to change things. He says himself, he tried to change things probably too quickly. But, his experiences as a player out in Italy taught him to maybe do something in a different fashion. And it didn't go down all that brilliantly. And I think that given time now, that Graham says in hindsight, that he might not have changed things as quickly as he wanted to do that. So there is a time then for implementing your own plan, but at the same token, trying to keep a couple of little things that were good for the football club and good for the players as well too. It's a hard balancing act when you want to change things around, but in time, just given some results like last night, fantastic, and things will go well.
It was great to hear you speak to Phil recently about the memories that you have in your career, especially where the game against Sutton really ranks. And we had Steve Guppy on the show last season talking about the atmosphere and the zone that the players were in at half time, and they really believed that they were going to win that game, and really fantastic that you can create that.
Sutton United away from home is definitely one of my top 5 games as a manager at Wycombe, and maybe even higher up than that. We had the experience of beating Kidderminster a couple of years earlier in the FA Trophy, and we desperately wanted to get back to Wembley. We're in the semi-final. We didn't play well in the first game. They beat us at Adams Park, but the crowd itself, our supporters turned out in big numbers. The stadium was packed to the rafters at Sutton, and the players were so up for the game that you knew in the dressing room beforehand that we would do it. Matty Crosby scored twice, and we were absolutely fantastic. Of course, Keith got them back from injury. That was a big plus for us. And that day, that afternoon, was something I would never forget. It was really great. And then to go on to win at Wembley then and complete the double was terrific.
And we spoke to Andy Kerr as well, and he said, obviously, how excellent you are at sort of getting the best out of players. Is that something that sort of just came naturally to you, really?
Do you know what? I think there's probably something in that. You have to try. Obviously, your job is to try and get the very, very best out of players, and hopefully, if they want to, and there has to be a feeling on the other side that the players want to improve, and of course they did do. And when you're getting into going to football matches and feeling that you can win, then there's no finer feeling. And I think that was the thing that I had to try and change. I inherited a very, very fine set of players, but as Matty Crossley has often said to me, they couldn't win often enough, and that was the point. And winning or losing didn't seem to be the be-all and end-all of their footballing existence, and I wanted to try and change that. And I think obviously I was able to do that, but again, you have to have a response from the players, and that was terrific.
And does it feel like 30 years ago, getting the club into the Football League, especially what you've gone on to achieve since?
I couldn't believe it. I really, really cannot believe it. I must admit, can't believe it. Honestly, that the opening game up at Carlisle United when we couldn't get a breath for about 20 minutes in the match, and we thought, wow, this is going to be really tough for us. Players becoming professional players, opening league game. It was incredible. And the irony of ironies was the fact that when we got into the playoffs, our two semi-final games were against Carlisle again, by which time we were absolutely and utterly ready for anything.
And did the sort of step up sort of surprise you in from being from the conference to the Football League, or was that something you were quite prepared for?
Absolutely. No, it did. I knew we had some athleticism in the team, and that was going to help. But even those lads like Stapleton and Ryan, players like this here, Guppy himself, Carroll, even they found it very difficult to begin with. But we knew once we settled down, once we get the pace of the games, which might take us a number of weeks to do that, then it was a matter of trying to hang in. As it turns out, the players, their response was pretty quick. Pretty quick to the pace of the game at Carlisle. As I said, we couldn't get a breath for the first 20-25 minutes. But when things started to settle down a wee bit, players get used to it. I would have said that despite some decent results that we had, I would have said that really it maybe took us about 5 or 6 games to really feel as if we're absolutely fine here in terms of pace of the game.
And really nice for you to reflect on your success during your time at the club, even from winning things like the Bob Lord Trophy, obviously the trips to Wembley, and then the playoff finals and the FA Trophy, of course, as well. The
FA Trophy was something that Ivor Beeks, the chairman at the time, really wanted, and I understand why. For the team to go to Wembley and to win at Wembley was really terrific. We brought, I think that game against Kidderminster, I think it was about 35 or 36,000 people, which was a record, I think, for a trophy at the time. And I think we brought around about 27,000 people to the game. So when you have people travelling from all parts of Buckinghamshire and beyond, and getting into trains and heading up to Wembley, I think that was pretty special. And I know that my family, wife and daughters, really had a terrific day. But again, unfortunately, life moves on. You wanted to stand still for a while and really enjoy it, but it moves on so quickly.
Great to have those memories, though. And as you say, it's all about community. And I remember going to those games and you'd see people from the same street or school that you knew, and it was a real sense that the whole town was there.
Absolutely. Yeah, very much so. And we followed that there with a couple of more trips as well, too, again, in the final a couple of years later. And obviously the game against Preston when we got promotion at first time of asking into what would be termed the old the third division, the old third division at the time. Not sure what it was called then.
No, it's changed a few times, I think, since. But have you really sort of taken on, into your other jobs what you've achieved at Wycombe, or is managing against North Victoria the same as taking charge of an Old Firm game or Aston Villa into the Europa League or something like that? Are very similar? Right,
in very many aspects it is. Wycombe Wanderers was really important for me at the time. As I think I said to you earlier, if the results didn't go so well, You could maybe find yourself in the wilderness very quickly. And I put heart and soul into it, moved my family down. We lived in a really decent place in Nottingham, but family moved down. Children went to school here. We were in rented accommodation for a long period of time. And most evenings, I was out watching football games. I needed to know what the strength of the Vauxhall Conference was and the leagues below that, because maybe we might be able to find a gem or two playing in leagues below the Vauxhall Conference. So all of that there was part of my job, and which I relished and took it upon myself, to do it, because one, I wanted to do it, and two, it was. I wasn't going to find out anything about the Vauxhall Conference by sitting in the house. So I had to get out, and I put heart and soul into it. I think most evenings I would have been at football matches, certainly within the Buckinghamshire area, and a bit beyond that.
And you're still very much in demand today. Your book's been very successful. You've been on TV, talking to balls, doing cup draws, and on the radio as well.
I'm talking to balls now. That's that's the new one, I must say. And so I think that I was probably trying to get Wycombe a decent draw, and incredibly we should be drawn against Sutton, So, the talking to balls and having a bit of fun at the same time.
Well, it's been a real pleasure to catch up with you. Thank you so much indeed for your time, and congratulations, obviously, on all your success, and brilliant to reflect on. Hopefully you'll be speaking about it in another 10 years as well.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. I really appreciate it. Really do. Thank you very much.
Fantastic to chat to Martin, of course, who was at the ground on Tuesday. You might well have seen him there. And a big thank you to the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association for the opportunity as well. Part of a series where we're marking 30 years of Wycombe Wanderers in the Football League.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Final part of this week's Wycombe Wanderers Show. What, already? It goes so quick, doesn't it?
I'd just like to jump in here and say, if you hadn't noticed, Colin's quite a large fan of Martin O'Neill for several reasons. But it's always lovely when Martin's on, because you just are like a child at Christmas.
Thank you.
Is it true?
It was very exciting.
I know. Look, you're even smiling now.
I am.
Yeah.
If you'd have told me 30 years ago that you'd get to chat to Martin O'Neill, I'd be probably just as excited.
You were, yeah, exactly, yeah.
A bit of a higher voice as well.
Yeah.
It was fairly high then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Still to come, though, we'll hear from the current manager, who I'm always excited to speak to as well, even little room with brownies.
You've not given Martin O'Neill any brownies, so...
No. No, that's the point. I should always carry brownies with me.
You should, yeah.
Just in case.
Just in case.
You never know when a brownie presentation opportunity
exactly.
If you've just tuned in, this makes no sense to you at all. We'll hear from the current boss, Matt Bloomfield, as well. Just as a heads up, of course, if you've been following the Women's World Cup, we'll find out next week, after the final, of course, how the Lionesses absolutely, how the Lionesses have impacted the chair girls. We'll hear from Wycombe Wanderers captain Cara Howes. We'll also hear from the manager, these coaching staff, and some of the players as well, on what impact England women's footballers have had on them. But first, kit news.
Yes, good news, everybody. The shirts are on their way. Wycombe Wanderers announced earlier on today that the first delivery of home and away shirts are due to arrive over the weekend, and shipping will begin next week for fans who've placed a pre-order. Shirts will then be available to purchase in-store at Adams Park later this month once the pre-orders have been fulfilled. Exciting news if you have small children, because baby and toddler kits, and possibly if you're an adult that likes goalkeepers, the home Mardi Gras keeper shirts will be available to buy from the shop this weekend onwards, along with a section of Hummel leisure wear and training wear.
I say.
Which I believe is the hoodies, I think.
I'm a big fan of the training wear.
It's very nice. The coats, I can tell you, are excellent at keeping water off you.
Water repellent coats.
Yeah, very good, aren't they?
That's what you want. Also, you've got some Family Fun Day news.
Yes, because Family Fun Day is always excellent at Adams Park. Obviously, we're being there is a very small part of it, but they have lots of activities going on. And the next Family Fun Day, sponsored by Buckinghamshire University, has been confirmed as the Carlisle United game, 30th of next month. So right at the end of next month, they're going to have lots going on, including Q Little Pigs.
Pardon?
Exactly, some little pigs. Football, I don't think that means Wycombe Sound, possibly, I'm not sure. Football activities with Wycombe Ledger, Beauty and the Beast activities with the Wycombe Swan, and much more. Season ticket holders can buy them now because they went on sale on Monday. General sale is on the 23rd of August at 10 a.m. All the details are on the Wycombe Wanderers website.
Did you say cute little pigs?
Kew, like Kew Gardens.
Oh, I see.
It's a petting pig thing.
Initially,
in Amersham, apparently. Who knew?
Initially, I thought you meant you had to queue.
Well, you might have to queue for them, but there will be some. You might have to queue for cute little pigs.
Fantastic!
You're welcome.
Great pig news. I didn't realise they'd be brought up on the show as well.
It's you never know what will happen on this show.
No, exactly. Coming up next week, by the way,
cute little pigs.
there was mention of donkeys earlier as well.
No, that's true. Yeah.
This has got very farmyard. I don't think that's the right word. Have I mentioned what's coming up on next week's show?
I don't know. What are you going to say?
That's true. The Wycombe Wanderers win, and
yes, you mentioned that.
Also Mark Gateskill, who's
kind of mentioned that,
chief executive of the Wycombe Wanderers Foundation, and quite likely Rob Kewick as well.
Yes, he's in the country. He'll be there on Saturday again.
Yes, much to look forward to. I think that's it from the notice board section, isn't it?
Yes. If you want more Wanderers content after this, Pre-Match Reels is 50 minutes long this week.
Oh,
we might want to get a cup of tea or something, popcorn.
Speaking in your Wanderers TV hat, can you tell us about what's on that?
Oh, yes, I can, because I helped put it all together, so I should know what was on it. Obviously, there's the gaffer.
Yes.
Obviously. Jack Grimmer is also on it. There's the brand new feature, Wish You Were Here.
That's very popular, isn't it?
I think is what it's called.
No, yeah, it is.
Which includes somebody in a bucket hat once again. Exciting. You can look
also available in the club shop.
Also available in the club shop. There is the lowdown from a Burton fan, and also Luke Jarrett's amazing pitch-side footage from Tuesday.
Really good hearing in the Blues, actually, on a Tuesday, which of course is...
And that's here for an hour on Tuesday as well.
Yes, it's a bit cut down this week because of the football.
Yeah, football.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, Phil caught up with the manager, Matt Bloomfield, of course, earlier on today, in fact.
He did?
To recap what happened on Tuesday and look ahead to the visit of Burton Albion on Saturday.
Gaffer, here we are on Thursday in between a Tuesday and Saturday home game. You must be still buzzing after Tuesday night.
Yeah, definitely so. I thought it was obviously a really positive night for us in terms of the result. We needed to get that first win. We wanted to put on a performance at home. Obviously we weren't sort of expecting the amount of excitement that we had on the night. As we said after the game had everything, didn't it? But obviously we're really, really pleased. We've analysed it. There's some positives. There were some not so positive bits that we need to try and arrest and correct as quickly as possible. But yeah, we have to be pleased with the night's work.
Some really good signs across the pitch as well. Players really getting to know each other's games as well. And we talked to Jack Grimmer earlier, and he was saying there's only certain things you can do at training, but sometimes match days really kind of cement those relationships. Yeah,
and you know, I don't want to bore everyone with repeating the same lines, but we have to remember that we did miss most of pre-season with this group. You know, live match situations in pre-season are the time where you iron out you know, pressing situations, defensive situations, building relationships on the pitch, but unfortunately that wasn't to be, so we have to try and get the boys up to speed and get them cohesive as quickly as possible. There were some promising signs in the first two games, albeit lots of negatives as well, but the other night there was more positives, and we have to be pleased with that. I'm really excited about the group. I love these boys. I'm really happy with the group we've got together. But I was after the first two games, and I'm still am after Tuesday night, and we have to make sure we keep moving forward. One result doesn't change anything in my mind. We have to be ready and hungry for Saturday.
I mean, great opportunity to build on this on a Saturday afternoon as well. Hopefully put on a really good show for the fans. If the sun's out as well, it'll make it even better.
Yeah, obviously Saturday afternoon we want to win the game. If the sun's shining, the guys, I want to say thanks for the atmosphere the other night. I thought it was top. I love Tuesday nights at Adams Park. The lights are on. It was great. It was lovely to share that moment with the terrace after the game. But we will need to be ready for Saturday. You know, this is going to be a tough game against a good Burton team, and we've got to be ready to go. We've got to be hungry, and we've got to be ready to go, mate.
We're a few games into the season now, so we can talk a bit about the law changes that came in, because Tuesday was quite a good example of that. We had both players on both sets of teams booked for time wasting. We had coaches getting sent off or booked during the game, sent off after the game, and then not able to or not allowed to do their media commitments. Lots going on around the game. What do you make of the changes?
Yeah, I think that it's actually a bit like the player relationships. It's only once you actually get into the season you realise how much the game has changed. Even the multi-ball means there's less time. When we're trying to get tactical information onto the pitch, there's a lot fewer opportunities to do so because the ball's in play more. Usually, with the ball goes in the crowd, you can get some information onto the lads. That's not so because the balls are back in play. So that's definitely changed from our side, how we get information onto the pitch. The amount of added time at the end, we've spoken about that. There's going to be a lot of extra football for the boys to play, so recovering, especially early season, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday is tough. So you have to look at that. Obviously our conduct on the side, you have to be really mindful of that. It's hard because it's obviously an emotional game and we care deeply about what we do. That's why we do the jobs we do, and we're all desperate to win. I understand that we have to be respectful towards the officials, and I try that at all times, but sometimes emotional reactions happen like that, and you have to be mindful of what you're doing on the sideline. So I think there's been plenty to get to grips with, maybe a lot all in one go at the start of the season when we're only given a couple of weeks' notice, but it's the product, and we have to be mindful of the fact we're trying to look after it and make it as enjoyable and as entertaining as we can. But ultimately, we're here to win.
What was the directive about the conduct in the technical area? Because you've had a booking, right? You've definitely had a talking to.
Yeah, I got booked first game, so it was, for me, I thought we had a penalty. I made my claim about the penalty. I thought it was a stonewaller on Josh Scowen. Wasn't given. I didn't realise I was going to get booked for that. But again, I wasn't disrespectful in my protest. Apparently I threw my chewing gum, which is not allowed, so I deserved booking.
And Saturday, Burton Albion, who've struggled. They finished the season brilliantly under Dino, but they're struggling this time out.
Yeah, I think they built, obviously, from January to the end of the season. They made some really astute loan signings. I thought they strengthened really, really well in January. They're a really hard-working, really high-energy team. So we know that they're going to want to come on and give us a stern test on Saturday. I think Dino's done a great job there since he took over last season. So they've signed some good players. Maybe they've been unlucky with a couple of injuries early season, but it's going to be a tough test for us. We have to concentrate on ourselves. We have to make sure that we have our energy levels up, and we have to make sure we have our performance levels up, because we want to go and have another good day on Saturday.
And how's the squad looking coming into the Tuesday night game? It was just Jason and David Wheeler who were missing through injury. Any updates on those guys?
No, they're still unavailable. Dave and Jace obviously missed all the pre-season. They're working their way back out. They're out on the grass now, but they're still not back in with the group. Obviously, we're building up the fitness of a couple as well who did miss pre-season. We're trying to get Vokes's minutes up. Josh Scowen's gone and played a lot of football in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, Chrissy Farino missed a lot of pre-season as well, hence why he missed out on Tuesday night. So we have to be really mindful of the fact we can't break anyone this early in the season. So we have to make sure that we got a couple of knocks the other night as well. Taff and Dale got a couple of knocks. We have to assess them over the next 24, 48 hours and pick a team that we believe is ready to run and ready to go and perform.
More you can hear. Hello Yoda.
Hello Yoda.
More you can hear
from
Matt Bloomfield on Wanderers TV with Phil discussing other things with him as well. More you can hear. Bloomfield, more you can.
Yes, we can.
We were going to talk quickly before the end about the Legends Lounge, because you mentioned that briefly and on Tuesday.
Yes, Stuart Lewis will be the third legend in the Wycombe Legends Lounge, which I keep weirdly calling the Live Lounge. I'm not really sure.
Do they perform?
I don't think so. Although Michael Jackson was brought up on Tuesday night. But Stuart Lewis will be the third legend. If you want to find out more details, wwfc.com.
Former captain Paul Hayes on Tuesday.
He was, and he was very funny.
Fantastic to have him back in town.
If you've not eaten, then this might make you hungry. I can tell you on Saturday is going to be a Great British Roast-themed menu in the Legends Lounge.
Oh, great. Catering news as well.
Chicken, Yorkshire puddings, honey-glazed roast root vegetables, roasted garlic new potatoes, sage and onion stuffing, and red wine gravy.
Wasn't expecting that.
Can I have that now? Dear Baxter Story.
We've had Q pigs and now we've had roasts.
Sorry to those little pigs. They're not mentioned on here, it's fine. It's just chickens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, great news. Yeah, the Legends Lounge is really fantastic if you've experienced that already this season. And lots more, of course. Stuart Lewis has been on the show as well. Paul Hayes, we haven't spoken to yet, have we?
Dear Ex-Players Association.
Yeah, have to have him on. Enjoy the game on Saturday if you're going /listening. And great show to look forward to next week. As mentioned, very much looking forward to Wycombe Wanderers women captain Cara Howes bringing us the thoughts of the whole club of Wycombe Wanderers women on the Chair Girls and also, of course, England, the Lionesses, at the World Cup final. Wishing them all the best as well. Have a good rest of your week. Up the week.
Come on, you Blues!